Alrighty, it's time for the final episode of the Mechazoid story arc. We've come a long way, and it's been a month and a half of me making these videos, but we're finally here. Can't wait to see how this epic storyline concludes, and have some general thoughts and other things at the end of the episode. Okay, here we go. Leo finally took my advice and went into the window. He didn't get thrown through the window, but he went into the window, so that's a start.
I told you it wasn't the right place.
It was the general area, okay? And what are you, an expert on evil villain layers?
I know they don't usually valet.
I see what you did there, Leo. Real slick.
Hey, I know you're in there, robot lady! Open up! This has to be the right place. Ah, forget it.
Okay, so it makes sense for Leo to have been able to find where the Mechazoids were in Bishop's hideout, because he followed one of the Mechazoids. At the end of Leo's episode, him and April specifically discussed following the Mechazoid and figure out where it came from. However, Raph's does not get to do that with his Mechazoid. His is completely broken and destroyed by the end of his episode, or at least to the point where he wouldn't have been able to find it. So somehow Raph just knew where Bishop's lair was without any kind of hints or directions.
Fools to come back here? What do you mean, come back here? I'm pretty sure I'd remember this dump.
You don't remember?
Whoa.
This is where you destroyed my life's work. Where you showed me a new purpose.
You know, while I was recording the episode itself to put it into my editing software and make the video, I remembered this moment and I was like, oh, that's a strange thing. I'll probably mention it. You know, Bishop talking about you should have never come back here. But it seems like Raph has the same question and Bishop answered it. So, thanks.
My Mechazoids were going to lift up humanity, but I see now that they need to protect us from mutants.
Yeah, I got it, okay? You hate mutants, blah, blah, blah. Now why don't you show yourself and we can talk about it?
Okay, so one of my biggest questions when I first watched this episode, literally the first time I ever watched through this entire series, I was like, how do the turtles make armor with the Mechazoid parts? Because it doesn't make sense. Like, the way the Mechazoid bots are made, there's no way you could apply any of that parts and turn it into armor and apply it to themselves, because, like, it just doesn't make sense. It physically seems impossible. You know, one of my big fan theories about the show before it came out, one of my big predictions was that Bishop was going to wind up being Baxter Stockman's daughter, and she was going to have some kind of revenge fantasy against the Turtles, believing they were responsible for his demise, and mutants as a whole were responsible for her father's demise. But, you know, it didn't work out that way. But this mecha that she's in definitely seems very reminiscent of something Baxter Stockman would wear.
Goodbye, mutant.
Bro, when Leo yells Raph here, when he goes to tackle him to save him, it sounds exactly like 2012 Donnie. You cannot convince me otherwise.
I figured I was the only one left.
Me too! I was just... Wait, why would you be the only one left? You didn't think I could survive on my own? Wait, what about Mikey and Donnie?
Okay, so this definitely feels like some kind of Last Run reference here, like the way they talk about being the last one left or something. That's exactly what it reminds me of.
And also, we've got a problem. There's Mechazoids on their way.
Why is April here?
Not because I asked her to come, thereby putting her in danger, that's for sure.
Here's another absolutely ridiculous feat of strength from Raph here. He goes to lift this box that fell on top of him and Leo that's like the size of Bishop's Mechazoid that she's in right now, so that makes sense.
Look, Bishop, you don't need to do this. I promise you, mutants are really reasonable. We're super chill.
Oh great, now Leo's in one of these suits of armor that make absolutely no sense too. I dig the chainsaw swords though. Chainsaw Man would be proud.
What?
Except for that one.
I tell you what, Raph is really channeling his inner Shredder this episode. His suit kind of reminds me of Shredder's suit with like the arm side gauntlet things. And him going, "What?" is the most Shredder thing ever.
It's complicated, okay?
We made it. With mutant blood.
And I'm next.
You made a mutant?
Okay, so one thing I just thought about here. If Pigeon Pete was made using Mikey's blood, does that make Pigeon Pete Mikey's biological son? Like, they share some kind of DNA together, right?
Hey, where's Donnie?
I'm right here. Man, do I have a tale to tell you.
Donnie!
Interesting choice of words that Donnie says, boy, do I have a tale to tell you. Perhaps a reference to the title of the series.
Trust me, you're gonna love it.
Of course, as soon as Donnie got here, he immediately joined the club of just making random armor out of Mechazoid parts.
It's good to be back together, boys.
Yeah, I actually missed you guys.
Are we ready?
Yeah. Let's do this.
Oh great, and now they go to do the group hug, and Mikey's a part of the Armored Mechazoid Club too, for no reason. Oh, and another quick side note, it's funny how at the end of their group hug, Leo says, let's do this, when at the beginning of the series, the Turtles mocked him when he said so, but now they take him seriously. Nah, bruh. What is this Power Rangers suit up scene? Oh, also, the song playing here sounds like the build up to one of those aggressive funk remix videos you see on YouTube. Look it up, you'll know what I'm talking about. You know, when I first watched this series, I thought Bishop was just shooting like a normal bullets at the turtles. But nope, she's shooting wrenches and screwdrivers at them. That makes sense. Fun little Easter egg for you here. The scene here with Bishop slamming her fists down and destroying the boxes the turtles are hiding behind is very reminiscent of how the theme song ends. And the song playing is a remix of the theme song, and the part of the theme song that plays when Bishop smashes the boxes is the same one that plays at the end of the theme song where she slams her fist down. So, cool little tie-in there. Not gonna lie, this Mechazoid with the axe is cold. Honestly, best character design from the series so far.
Will you shut up about my eyes already?
All life forms have the potential for mutation, including humans.
What? No! I didn't write that into your code.
Here we go. After all the build-up for Mikey's episode and the teasing about Rod being attacked by the robots because of his eyes, it's finally been paid off. I will say, though, it's interesting that Bishop programmed the robots in a way where they would do that. I mean, she says she didn't program to do that. So either they developed the skill on their own, or Bishop did program that way, in the sense that she could have just programmed them to target individuals with mutagen blood, and that would have solved the problem, which is something Rod probably would have been able to pick up on. And perhaps if she paid more attention to Rod and took him seriously, there could have been a better chance at this whole thing working out for Bishop.
You're an idiot, but you're our idiot.
Oh yes, another absolutely unfathomably incredible feat of strength from Raph. That little grunt that Mikey makes there, it's the same one he makes in the first episode when Raph is teasing him about next time when he gets into a fight, he'll just tell jokes.
Mission objective: protect all mutants.
See? I told you backup was coming.
Let's go! My goat Metalhead has made his grand return. A cool bit of subtle storytelling here, and I might be stretching here a little bit, but when the turtles went through those windows into this same building earlier, the humans had no reaction, in the sense that they didn't run away out of fear. However, when the robots did it, they did run away in fear. which in my opinion is a nice, subtle way of showing that civilians are more scared of robots than they ever were of mutants.
What happened to her?
You actually want to know? Elena was born without legs. I made her prosthetics that allowed her to walk. She inspired me to do more for the world. I thought I could save humanity.
Okay, so my hypothesis from the previous episode about Bishop's sister being dead is probably incorrect. There was a lot of evidence to back it up in the previous episode, but in this episode she doesn't directly mention her sister being gone. Granted, Leo interrupts her, so it's entirely possible Bishop was going to mention that she was gone, but didn't get the chance to because of Leo. But either way, I still don't think it happened just based off the way Bishop told the story and worded the whole situation.
Bishop, go! I'll hold them off. You take the EMP and get to the tower.
Bro, look at my goat, Donnie. He is absolutely holding it down on the front line against those Mechazoids. Just my goat.
What have I done?
Nah, Bishop, that one ain't even your fault. That was just Metalhead.
Your life function will end now. All life will end. Destroy all mutants.
That is not cool, robot cousins. Wait, stop. I need that arm. Error! Error!
Metalhead!
R.I.P. Metalhead, bro. He was only around for a short amount of time, but he helped the turtles so much in this episode. Shout out to Metalhead. Oh, and also, since when did the cool Aura bot with the axe get a saw blade hand? I noticed that.
You and your mutant friends will... What?
You know, it's definitely a very classic trope and a very predictable thing to happen to have the character that no one liked, the character that was pointless, that was seen as the butt of the joke a lot of the time, be the one to save the day, especially with the way they portrayed Pigeon Pete. But I still think it's a cool note and a really cool way to end the storyline with a character that you thought was irrelevant.
Pigeon Pete! Yes! I made him! You can do it, Pete!
Okay, I have like 80 different things to mention in this scene here. Number one, Leo says, "What the heck is that?" when Pigeon Pete is flying through the air with the EMP. Which doesn't make sense because Leo knows exactly who Pigeon Pete is earlier because him and Mikey had the conversation about Mikey creating him. Number two, the shot of Mikey and Metalhead reacting to Pigeon Pete saving the day and it just being Metalhead's head on the ground is crazy work. And number three, how on earth did that EMP wipe out the electricity citywide? Like, I thought this thing, like, obviously, Bishop said if you get it high enough, it would increase the range. But I didn't realize they were trying to wipe out the entire electricity of New York. That's crazy work.
We know who you are, Miss Bishop. We're admirers of your work.
What?
You had the right idea with your Mechazoids. With enough resources, we think you could help save the world from the mutant threat. Would you like that?
Yes.
I will say, I don't really like this. Like, Bishop working with the EPF is a good way of tying the Bishop character back into the Utrom, because if it's not obvious and you're not aware with TMNT lore, the EPF are usually Utrom. In most versions they are. In 2012 they were, and in 2003 they were. And it's already been heavily implied that Cynthia Utrom from the movie is an Utrom. So it's entirely possible that Bishop's teaming up with her by joining the EPF. But I do think this is a bit of a backstep in Bishop's character development, because this entire episode has been developing Bishop as a character and trying to maybe turn her good and let her see that, you know, maybe mutants aren't so bad, and they just completely backpedal and she goes back to being against the mutants, which feels like a strange call, but I guess they'll probably have more plans for Bishop in future seasons and potentially movies, so I'm not going to complain.
Leo, Tawny's making us watch nerd stuff. Don't leave us in here alone.
It's not nerd stuff. It's an anime masterpiece.
I'm coming.
And, I'd say it's pretty fitting that this whole story arc starts or ends the way it started, with Leo writing in his comic. Unlike the second story arc for this season, though, I don't think it's entirely made up by Leo. Not that the second story arc was made up by Leo, but it was made up by Raph for a news story for April. However, this story feels a lot more legitimate and real, especially because of the way they set up Bishop at the end. So, all in all, this is a pretty good conclusion to a story arc, and I'm pretty happy with it. And after a month and a half of making videos, we finally concluded the Bishop Mechazoid story arc. This is definitely the better story arc of the two story arcs that are showcased in this first season of the show. It does a good job of establishing good character beats for the Turtles and introducing a large majority of new characters that are typically seen in TMNT shows, most notably be Bishop, Han, and Angel. So glad to see all those characters make their return, as well as some development for already established characters. Two things I am going to mention real quick, just as general things. Number one, shout out to my best friend. His birthday was this Wednesday. The video will go up Friday, but his birthday was this past Wednesday. So happy birthday to him. Number two, if it's not obvious, I am getting sick. There's been a sickness going around in my household. It's pretty bad. Luckily, I've been able to avoid it long enough to get this video done. However, at the time of recording this, the first half of the episode was recorded before I got sick. I'm recording this now after I've gotten sick. I'm not sick, but I'm definitely feeling it a little bit, and you might be able to tell with my voice and stuff and my throat. And just want to warn you guys, if I do wind up getting as sick as my family members have, I will probably not be uploading next week, which I think is fine. Take a 1 week break in between story arcs. I think it will be fine. It will be fitting. But if I do wind up taking a break, check the community tab on my YouTube channel. I will post there if I don't upload a video. So don't worry, I'm not dead. If I don't post a video Friday, not that kind of sick. So thank you guys for watching and supporting me up until this point. And don't worry, I will be back even if I don't upload next week. I promise you, I will finish the show and I'll continue with other TMNT shows afterward. I have some other content planned too that I'll discuss more in detail when I'm started working on it. But bye-bye for now.